Hello families! Today we're going to be going through how to log into Schoology so you can see what your student sees. Let's check it out. Hey there, this is Ms. Hurst, and today I'm going to be showing you how to access the parent side of Schoology. So the first thing we have to do is actually get to Schoology, and there's a couple ways to get there. So the first one is our favorite way, which is where we just go to Google and we type in Schoology.com. Well, Schoology in this case, and we click on that first one, which is Schoology.com. And the second way is you type in Schoology.com. You just need that basic website. You don't need anything fancy, no special links. And when you get here, all you're going to do is you're going to hit sign up. Now notice I haven't clicked anything yet. My hand's still there. I'm just hovering. All I'm going to do is go down to where it says Parents, and I'm going to click on Parents. Now, the teacher is able to give you an access code, and that's unique to your student. What's nice about that is that one access code that you can get from any of your child's teachers is actually going to make it so you can access all of their classes. So you only need to contact one teacher and have one teacher give you it, and you can see everything for every single class your student's in. So I'm going to get logged in, and I'll get right back to you. All right, so now we're logged in. This is the main parent page. We're going to notice here is that you can see all of the updates for the high school. This is anything that your student would be able to see when they log on, and this is where they want to start looking when they first log in. This has everything that's important to them that they might see here. Where my picture is right now is where you're going to find any upcoming assignments or any overdue assignments that your student may have when we go to the student side of things. Now, if I were to click on courses, groups, or resources, there isn't going to be anything there because right now I'm logged in as the parent. What we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to switch over to being our student. So in order to switch to our student view, what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the top right-hand side where our name is, and we're going to click that drop-down menu. When we click that drop-down menu, we're going to quickly see that we have some options here. We have an option to add a child. So if I have more than one student, I could get their code from their teacher and add them here just by clicking that button. I can view my profile as a parent. I can go and see the actual whole high school, and I can modify settings. Right now, we're just going to go in and see what it's like to view as a student. So I'm going to click on my student account. All right, so I'm now logged in as my student. You'll notice a couple things have changed. Since I'm now in my student menu, I'm seeing updates from my teachers. Right here, one teacher has posted a Zoom meeting reminder that they have a class set up. On the right-hand side, you'll see that there's some recent grades. So as my parent, I can see that there's graded assignments, tests and quizzes, and discussions, and I could click on those and find each item that my child has submitted. I can also see any overdue assignments here on the right-hand side. You'll see that right here on Monday, October 21st, there's an assignment that wasn't turned in. There's a couple other things here as well. If I scroll down, I can quickly see that there's also some upcoming assignments. There's a couple of teachers here who have posted some office hours that are available for students to attend. And those are going to show up on the student calendar. The next thing we're going to view are the students' courses. So all we're going to do is we're going to click up here where it says courses. I'm currently hovering over a lunch bubble, so you're not missing anything here. As we go through, you'll see that there's geometry, phys ed, foundations of digital design, foundations of tech, biology, economics, French, and English. There's lots of different courses. You'll notice that there's actually 2 French classes here, and that's because that class is split with lunch. The only class that you're going to find grades or work in is the one that's in the 3rd block class. So see how this one has a 3C? When we go through and we look at the grade report, you won't see any materials for the 2 portion. So let's go through and see the next part. Let's check out a class. Let's go and check out geometry. I hope this teacher got something covered here. I don't know. I've heard scary things. Uh-oh, it's Ms. Hurst. Oh wait, that's me. All right, so When you log into the course, you're going to see a lot of different things. So the first thing, which I'm pointing out here, is you're going to see who the teacher is. If there's more than one teacher in the classroom or more than one administrator in the account, you're going to see that over here on the right-hand side. So there's some classes where there might be 2 teachers in there, and you would see that right here. You'll also see any upcoming assignments or any sort of events that are coming up for the course on the right-hand side. Over here on the left, you're going to see the Materials tab, which is where your student can go through and find anything that they have that the teacher has posted. This particular course that I have set up here is something called a completion folder, which is where if you click, your student can see what their progress looks like in the class pretty quickly. So if I click here real quick, my student can quickly see that they haven't done any of my assignments yet, but that's because they just got posted. So when they go through, each teacher sets it up a little bit differently. So make sure you click all the buttons and see what everything means. In my case, I have to try and make it so that it's pretty obvious. So I have read me first, watch me, and then I have a folder for each marking period as we go, or each quarantine marking period as we set it up here. Now, like I said, every teacher sets it up a little bit differently, but these things on the left-hand side will always be there. The one thing that your student's going to want to look at is their grades. Now, as a parent, you have a much easier way to look at grades than your student does. So we're going to take advantage of that today. I'm currently back on the main screen, and I did that just because it's a little bit easier to show you and point to things from here. And what we're going to do is look at grades now. So you'll notice at the top of the screen it says grade report, and so that's what we're going to click. So I've now entered my student's grade. I can go to any of their classes and see what they've done. In this case, if I look at, let's say, Foundations of Digital Design, I can check out marking period 1, 2, and 3 grades. You're going to notice a couple things here. When we look at marking period 1, you'll see that the student had 100%. But you'll notice that when I look at process, there's this little line here. What that means is that although there was an assignment there wasn't a grade. Now, the detail that's important is that this did not hurt their grade. And that's because this little piece of paper here means that the student turned that assignment in. They didn't get a 0 on it. They turned it in. It just wasn't graded in the grade book on Schoology. The official grade book for the school is on Home Access Center. So make sure that you always check there for a final grade update. However, if I go and I look at a product grade here, if I look at this review matching Unit 1, Week 6, you'll see that the student earned a 32 out of 32. And what I'm actually able to do as a parent from here is I can click on this and go in and see the whole test that my student turned in. I can see the entire thing, every question answered, as long as it is currently released to the student. Now, again, you'll see here with the Spark video submission, it's not that my student hasn't turned it in, it's that it just wasn't a graded assignment in Schoology. Well, how do I know if my student turned it in then? Let's look at something they didn't turn in. If we go down here to marking period 3, if we look at the typography slideshow, you'll see that this one here has that little line, but there isn't a piece of paper next to it. When you see that and it's next to an assignment, that means that the student did not turn that assignment in. If that assignment is being graded, it would count as a 0. So it's very important that when you see those little lines next to an assignment, you make sure you ask your student if they turned that in and if it's graded. You can go through and check any course this way. So remember before I had mentioned that we had a special thing with that French class. So let's take a look at that. Do you see how French has 2 sections here? Well, because our lunch periods are sometimes split, we have an A period and a C period. We have to make sure that we put our grades in the right grade book. So for teachers who have that happen, it always is in a specific one. In this case, it's in the C grade book. So if I go into this A section here, you'll notice that there aren't any grades and there's nothing there. Now that doesn't mean that the teacher hasn't done anything. What that means is that's not the course that they use. However, for coding purposes, that has to stay there. So when you're going to look at your student's grade, you just have to keep that in the back of your mind, and you always have to look at that other class. Now, what's really nice about looking online here is you can see feedback as well. A lot of teachers, when they assign something on Schoology here, they'll leave feedback. So if we look at this self-presentation project, you'll see that this teacher left feedback for the student. They got a 92 out of 100, and the reason they got a 92 out of 100 was because of some spelling issues and a couple things that they forgot, right, as defined right here. So you can go through every single class and see everything that the student has. Remember, this is only for things that have been assigned and entered on Schoology. If you want to see the formal grades for the entire school and for the entire course, you need to look at Home Access Center. The final thing I'd like to show you today is the calendar, because that can get really useful, especially with remote learning. Next to the name in the top right-hand corner here, you'll see this little calendar icon. So some of the teachers have already gone through and set up their office hours and class times so that they show up on this little calendar. Here you'll see that the student has a whole bunch of classes and distant learning activities all set up for them. This can really help with organization as you go through and you work through this remote learning experience. It also can just help with task management and getting stuff done. I know I personally need to write it down, so having something this nice and organized would be really useful. So I hope this video has helped you. Please feel free to reach out to any of your students' teachers to get that code. Stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.